and grow together, isn't it? I'm your moderator today. I'm Sanjita, and I'll be moderating today for this webinar. Let me take a few moments to introduce our special panelist today, who is our guest today, and he is none other but Dr. Shankar Subramanian. He's a professional who has been with over 4 decades of extensive commercial experience. He is also a senior faculty with Westford University. So he is here with us today, and he will make valuable contribution to us today on this topic. So welcome everyone, and welcome to this webinar. The topic for today is EHS. I know you all know what is EHS. It is Environment, Health, and Safety. It's a masterclass and a beginner's guide to EHS fundamentals. And you all know, dear participants, that EHS is so much important for us today in workplace, about our safety, not only at home, but in workplace also. So Dr. Shankar Subramanian, over to you, sir, and all the best, sir.
Thank you, Sanjita. So hi, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. So I'm Shankar Subramaniam. So we'll start with this environment, health and safety, and I'm very excited to have you all people here. So as we understand, environment is referring to the workplace in general. It could be largely everything in the world, and health and safety is about this environment. Okay. So we'll first discuss in terms of workplace, and then we can expand it later. So when you look at health and safety, what are the things which come to our mind are the various terminologies. Okay. So we should understand what is health and safety. Accident, for example, what is incident, what is hazard, what is regulation, what is a policy, what is risk assessment. So this will be quite extensively be using it throughout our webinar. So let me introduce these terminologies. Most of you will be knowing it. So just a quick revision. So when you look at the accident is an unplanned event that results in some sort of injury, or could be some damage, or could be loss of life even in different situations. Then incident is an unplanned, undesired event that adversely affects completion of a task. Then we have a concept of a miss. A near miss is an accident or an incident that could have resulted in an accident. Knowledge of near misses is very important, because we missed, it doesn't mean that it's not important, it's equally important. And obviously, looking at all this and to avoid this, the safety regulations are the strongest form of official advice that employees must follow, and they are legally enforceable. So to cover all this, a health and a safety policy is set in place, and it explains how you as an employer and an employee, what kind of things to be responsibilities you have towards health and safety. And then we have a concept of a hazard. A hazard is a potential of a substance, activity, or process to cause harm. A risk is a likelihood of a substance, activity, or process to cause harm. Okay. And the risk assessment is to assess all this risk and the potential hazards which are around in a workplace. And we can analyze and evaluate the risk associated with that hazard. So which is called as a risk analysis and a risk evaluation. So we go further is basically when you have accidents, these have got obviously implications. The implications could be direct and could be indirect. So some of the direct implications could be suffering. Okay, it could be loss of life, would be stress. No, it could be even in terms of money, loss of money. Then it could be a loss of life. If it's a loss of life, then a loss to family. So obviously, indirect costs are involved. It could be like a compensation you need to pay if the legality stands out. And obviously, other factors also are important, because in terms of insurance, the insurance premiums may increase. So that could be added cost. The brand image may suffer if you have accidents which are not investigated and you don't know what's leading to them. So the brand image of the organization can suffer. Then also you will not have people joining the companies because of this health and safety hazard at your locations at the workplace. Then that could have other implications. So overall, the performance can be effective. I mean, it can cause the morale of the people there. Suppose you have an accident in a place, obviously you're scared to go there the next day. So it quite often happens. And then if the accidents are too many, then you are not very secured in going to the workplace. So you're always looking out like anything can happen anytime. And with that kind of situation, the business cannot happen, and obviously your performance will suffer. So these are the cost and the indirect and direct implications of accident. When you look at various signboards, we have seen some of these. Okay, a health hazard could be a flame, could be a exclamation mark. A gas cylinder is shown this way. A corrosion, explosive bomb, flame over circle, environment, skull and crosses indicating danger, acute toxicity. So all are different hazards we have in different places. So depending on the workplace, you need to understand that what can happen. Suppose you're working in a chemical factory, for example, or where you're storing chemicals. So obviously the hazards are much more and different from a place where, let's say, you are in a office, air-conditioned office. So there the hazards and the risk are totally different. Okay, so we'll see some of these as we go. So obviously, when health and safety is at stake, so it's covered by a lot of regulations which are applicable to the workplace. So it all started with the Health and Safety Executive, which is the organization based in UK, which started off in 1974. They're one of the pioneer institutions which is regulating regulator of health and safety. Basically, they give guidance to various hazards which can happen and how to take care of them and how to avoid such instances. Various policies are set. So most of the other countries or other regions follow the HSC, and they come under various regulations. Like you have the examples given here: Health and Safety Procedure Regulations of 1974. It's not that we didn't have health and safety hazards earlier. It was very much there, but only in 1974, with the formation of the Health and Safety Executive, it all started to be getting formalized, and people were able to take on these, what do you call, regulations, and give it a proper format, and list it and then follow them. So it become a systematic health and safety following. So management of health and safety at work regulations, which is a 1999, the workplace health and safety welfare regulations 1992, the health and safety, that is regulations 1992, which is basically on the computers and then how to use them, the display screens. So you'll see various different regulations then, and it's a evolving way. Okay, so some of these assets are lately, like you have in a mall, for example, it could be a terrorist attack, it could be a bomb explosion. So these are terrorist activities which are the latest. Okay, or you can have gunfire. So these are the latest regulations. So it's a evolving process, and the HSC and the world community keep evolving the regulations to take care of the fresh and the new risk, or it could be a biological kind of attack. It could be a viral attack. Any of these could be, and not only it can be a what do you call, a virus spread like a COVID. So even that is a health and a safety hazard. So it can be in any format. So these various regulations look at various aspects of it, and it has got evolved over the times. So you'll see from 1974 it has got evolved. So you have the next things attended in 1992, then 1999. And when you look at the manual handling operations, then there's a set of rules which says that a normal individual cannot carry too much load, and how to carry them. They should be given equipments to carry them, forklift and the trolleys to carry a load. So beyond overbearing load can break your back, and the spiral injuries can be fatal. So these are some of the regulations which cover that. So provision and use of work equipment regulations, 1998. The reporting of injuries, diseases, and dangerous occurrences regulation, 1995. So working time regulations. So you also see that there is a regulation which says that people should not work more than 8 hours typically. Or if you're having a double shift, then you have to get that much of time more. For example, if you're a pilot and you're regularly traveling, so the aviation industry states very clearly that after every flight, you need to have a gap of probably 6 to 8 hours to recover, and then you go into the next shift. So similarly, that's the same way with the shift workers at the factories and even on the offices. So these are the regulations. So it, as I said, it keeps evolving, and it's a good point because it's a continuous improvement process. And as I said, health and safety is a process. It's not a one time, and it keeps changing and it keeps evolving. So we need to keep watching it closely, and the details go on, and then you get the regulations and how to take care of this and look for solutions. That is the best method forward. Health and safety hazards. Generally, when you look at it, prevention is better than cure. Obviously, when something is done, it's very difficult to take care of it. Like you have compensations, you have to take care of the injured person, so you have to move to hospitals, time loss, the performance is down, it leads to low morale, everything comes into picture. So obviously, prevention is better than cure. So you better see what are the risks which are there. You make an analysis of it, try to find a solution, how to avoid it. And this is, as I said, at various levels. So even one person, say it can be at an individual level, it can be organization level, it can be a national level or international level. So even one mistake at any stage can still be a hazard, and it can lead to any kind of a mishap. So we need to take look at any health and safety, what do you call, instance in that manner. So it's not a that there is a hazard you see somewhere and you just ignore it. So obviously saying that, okay, I have taken care of it. Suppose there is a, let's say, a pothole on the road and you're traveling. So obviously you see a pothole, you avoid it, but obviously you're not taking care of your other co-passengers. So you can probably stop somewhere, give call up a call center and tell them that there's a pothole which has been neglected and can it be taken care of, because it can be fatal for someone else. So it's always good to have concern about the others, and of course you need to take care of yourself first. So prevention of safety hazard can control costs, obviously. So if you're already taking care of the hazards and the prevention controls over it, so obviously the hazard misrep can be very much controlled, and it can be leading to a less instance and obviously leading to less costs. So the value of safety culture, as I said, it is a culture which starts with the individual. It goes permeates to your organization, and then the national level, society level, national level, and then the organization, the international forums. So the value of safety culture of organization is very important, and it's obviously organization is made up of people. So each and every individual should have the same culture. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. So product of individual and group values, like I said, you take care of yourself. At the same time, you show concern for the others, your neighbors, other workers, the co-workers at the workplace, colleagues, everyone. So the attitude should be there that, okay, you should show concern for anything which can happen, and it's not a one-time thing. So things can happen anytime. So obviously, it shows the hazard is always seen before. So if we are not noticing it, then it will lead to a massive mishap. So the perception of the person, the individual workers, the attitudes. So if you don't, you say that I don't care about anything, and then you, let's say you keep a drum on a staircase and then you don't shift it, so there are others who may come and trample on that, and then it can lead to a fatal accident. So these kind of situations should be avoided, and it has to do with the individual culture, with the individual attitude, individual perception, and at the organization level, all this matters because organization is made up of human beings and it doesn't stand on its own. So obviously, this could help everyone. So competencies and patterns of behavior are another area, because if you're not aware of the accidents which can happen, so there is a lack of knowledge. So there is a lack of competency to understand the misrep or the accident or the pattern or the potential to danger. So that's why you're neglecting it. That's another area which the probably company should give them a lot of training. And the patterns of behavior, as I said, so you don't delay it. As soon as you see something, you report it so that the accident is avoided. So determine the commitment to and the style and proficiency of a organization's health and safety management. Okay, so this shows individual commitment, organization commitment, management commitment, everyone, and then only it can be avoided. Okay, so all this is important at every stage. So the value of safety culture, as I said, organizations with a positive safety culture are characterized. So if you look at great companies, let's say Sony, for example, or Mercedes, or you look at Toyota, these kind of companies are known for their safety culture and the safety nuances they take, and they invest a lot of money into avoiding any of their dangers and taking care of their employees and well-being of the employees. So obviously, organization with a positive safety culture is well known and the image stands out. So they are founded by communication on mutual trust. So you communicate at all levels. So about the danger, and you have workshops, you have awareness programs to know about the various potential dangers which can happen. So at individual level, at a department level, and various levels. Okay, so by shared perception of the importance of safety, then by confidence in the efficacy of preventive measures. So how do, if the danger is seen and it's assessed and it's taken as a danger, so how to avoid it and how to make sure that it's not repeated and how it can be controlled further. So all these are part of positive safety culture. So as if I put it in a figure like this, so safety culture will depend on the values of the individual, about the leadership, the ownership every individual takes about it, the communication at all levels, recognition of the dangers, as I said earlier, and then making sure you follow the rules and procedures and you avoid any dangers and make sure that are dangers are avoided, and also making sure that a solution is set, you don't delay on the solution, and then you need to self-verify if everything is fine on a daily basis probably. So workplace EHS activities, as I said, EHS is huge. Okay, environment, health and safety is not only restrictive to the workplace. It could be the climate, it could be the external environment. So it could be pollution in the city. It could be any of these. Okay, so it could be even at the airport nearby place. It could be noise pollution. Okay, which is again, it's a much larger level, so it's not restricted only to the area near the airport, because the airports you have the planes uh, having a deafening kind of effect on the hearing, because the planes land and take off. It can lead to a lot of irritation for the people next door. So these are some of the examples. So you should know and get aware of the various activities which can do that. Or if you are using, let's say, tractors and trucks, construction equipment, JCBs, these kind of in the workplace, and then it's in a commercial area or in a residential area. So it's going to be irritating because the people will not be able to sleep. And obviously there are timings set, and then the government have regulations that it can be done in this place and how to take care of the noise and the sound, etc. So safety communication systems with the employees should be open, transparent system for ensuring employee compliance with the safe work practices. So you have the system in place, then you ensure that everyone follows the system, and make sure that the compliance is done. So you have audits. So scheduled inspections, evaluation systems, then accident investigation immediately, procedure for correcting unsafe, unhealthy conditions, safety and healthy training and instructions, record keeping and documentation. As I said, anything has to be documented. Even a miss is documented. So if you see a pattern, it shows meaning that the people are not taking care. So a miss can ultimately lead to accident, which is not good. So these are some of the instances or examples we have seen in the various organizations and the workplaces which can happen. So even the best of organizations do whatever and we invest a lot of money in the R&D and then the people, the awareness, still accidents do happen in the best of the workplaces. So you need to be vigilant always and not let down your guard. So workplace hazards could be an electrical shock, should be a falling object like something placed on the top coming down. Chemical substances, as I said, a lot of industries like paint industries use a lot of hazardous chemicals like acids. Then they can use pigments, dyes. So these are chemical substances. It can be explosive. At the same time, it can also lead to choking or the what do you call choking of the lungs, for example. So even temperature can be a hazard. Like you have manufacturing, like where they make steel or aluminum kind of environment. So the workers are exposed to very high temperatures. So obviously these kind of temperatures the body cannot take. So that it leads to a lot of what do you call hazards and health problems for these workers. Slippery floors, you wash the floor and you forget to put a signboard, so someone comes and slips, and then it needs to leads to a what do you call a massive fall and a fatal one. It can happen because you may break a neck or you can break a or you can have a slip disc, which is equally dangerous. Unsecured items, secured items are you keep it in the right place and also it should be secured, so it should not fall all over the place. Furnaces, as I tell, temperature, then objects lying on the floor, so they can trip and fall. So these kind of hazards happen in most of the places. So you need to take care of these instances. And the most important is the awareness of these and discussions at various forums where you can, and then training given to how to deal with these instances and how to take care of them. So workplace hazards, personal or worker falling from height is we are seen in a lot of even the big places like the big for even if you've seen that instance, it came in the paper that it was reported the Burj Khalifa, we have some 30 or 35 workers who have fallen to, fallen from height and led to a lot of mishaps. So the best of these sites have these kind of things, and it's but natural that the mistakes do happen. But how to avoid them? So mistakes can happen. So how to be vigilant? How to take care of them? So look at the assessment, assess the risk, take care of them, and keep repeating on a daily basis. Continuous improvement. That's the only way you can avoid more instances of such accidents. Machinery injury. I mean, you can cut off your finger or hand. Any getting stuck on the machine is a machine injury. Then noise hazards, as I said about the airports or even a construction site. Light hazards like welding. So when you're using welding machines and welding torches, so it can lead to what do you call serious injuries of the eye, or it can even lead to fire. Poisonous gases released, as I said, hazardous chemicals, explosive chemicals need to be handled very carefully as per the rules and regulation of the government as well as of the Factories Act. So ergonomics is something which we have seen. You should be sitting in a proper place or standing in a proper place with your eyesight on a level and not looking down or up, which is very what do you call dangerous for the person on a continuous basis. So a lot of people have back pains, especially the people working in the offices. So the seating arrangement and the way you look into the computer screen, the brightness, everything needs to be set right. And there are various regulations which take care of them. So you got experts who can advise you on this. So you should regularly look for professionals who can take care of this. Radiations, like you have radiation levels at nuclear plants could be, or could be even in it could be a heat radiation in a furnace kind of environment. Extreme temperatures, like in the Middle East, the extreme temperatures are July, August. So obviously, in those months, we avoid workers working on the construction sites from 12 to 4. But then still, even the temperatures in the night, and it can lead to dehydration, and it can lead to a lot of other hazards. So it needs to take care of at every instant. Visibility could be there, like you have a fog. So even driving, we have seen, if there's a fog, the visibility is very low, and it's dangerous to go out in such instances. Okay, weather phenomena. So it could be raining and slippery. So we've seen accidents happen quite in the roads and also at the factories. So slips can happen if it's a slippery floor, or if it's rained and little bit and then slippery, slipping on the tires can lead to accidents. So you have to be careful. So like that, you have a lot of instances. There is nothing fixed about a workplace hazard. It can happen anytime, any instant. So how to avoid workplace hazards, as I said, is the awareness. So you need to keep with talking about these things to everyone. So everyone is aware of what are the dangers, what are the potential dangers, how to take care of them, and what could happen if we don't take care of all. This is awareness lessons. So generally, the HR and also the line managers in the workplaces keep giving these awareness workshops and keep talking to the various people at all levels. So it, the awareness can be from the workshops, from talking to elders, from talking to the colleagues, talking to people at home, anywhere. All this is awareness, okay, or reading about it, or using technology, or it's all over the net these days. So your smartphones can help. A lot of pictures you get on the WhatsApp, social media can help. So all these awareness lessons are a good place to be with. So training of personnel is a must to improve, reskill, upskill workers with the training, how to handle equipment, especially how to take care of hazards, and how to train people to do a risk assessment, and how to avoid this risk, mitigate this risk, keeping health and safety aspects in design. Right in the design, most of us, I mean, the products and the other facilities are always designed in such a way that take care of the health and safety. We don't expose customers or the workers or the employees to high level of risk. So if it's risky, then it's not a commercial success. So at the design stage itself, we should take care, and obviously at the workplace, how to use it and how to uh, I mean keep using the right regulations and the procedures. So regular inspection for the health and safety aspects, as I said, risk assessment is a must, and it should be done on a continuous basis, and each and every individual is responsible for it. And it's not just one person or inspector who is there. So every individual who can anticipate and see a danger should take care of the danger. So regular health and safety audits on a regular basis is recommended. That's done in most of the factories, workplaces, and also the governments these days have these audits to keep check on restaurants, for example, the kitchens, and also the health and safety of the people, or whether they are clean, no, things like that. We keep looking at, and we have reports where the municipality has stopped certain restaurants because they're not clean. No, this keeps happening. So that comes from regular health and safety audits. They are a must. Inspectors to take care of the risk which are involved, and then probably stop and remove such hazards. Promoting and rewarding safe practices at the workplace. So if everything goes fine, so obviously you're saving a lot of money, because as I said, the cost implications are too much if something happens. So if nothing happens and it's very less, so obviously saving as a blessing, that there is no accident, there is no hazard. So you're saving in terms of money, in terms of morale, in terms of what you call performance. So all this can be converted to a reward for all the people around. So as I said, If something is done wrong and not in the right place, they are penalized. The same way, if they are doing something systematically and taking care of all the regulations, the company should reward such practices, and that then it becomes a incentive for everyone to follow those practices, and because they also see that, yeah, others getting rewards and practices, and the name is definitely there. You are booked as an achiever. So regular benchmarking practices. You look at the safety benchmarks at the other industries, how they're following and what kind of care they take, and the same you apply to your industry and the workplace. So career options, obviously there are many. Health and safety is a whole set of domain you can call, and it's wide open. So it's nothing to do with any particular sector. So environmental health and safety is a good career option and goes well with engineering background, technical, and with the management subjects too. So if you are interested in this, you should take up this career because it's well paying also, and then I mean, it's a smooth one, and the options are many. So if you're looking a whole gamut, how do you look at it? You have the workplace, you have the regulations, the mental assurance, the academic field all put together. So academic field, career certifications, you go for certifications such as health and safety inspector could be, or could be a health and safety supervisor, anyone. So it can lead to a health and safety degree, awards, rewards, could be a subject specialist, like it could be at the workshop, or it could be a equipment specialist. So you look after health and safety of a crane, for example, working of a crane at the work at the construction site. So it can be a specialist even, or it could be a specialist with a particular, let's say, welding procedures. Okay, or it could be a flight aircraft maintenance specialist. Okay, so health and safety is required there. So then in the workplace, you could be a environmental health and safety manager, which is quite high ranked in the organization generally. So company needs also are met, and the sector needs and the social society needs are met by these people. So regulations, you have the government, the health and safety executive, as I said, the regulator, and the inspections, and the local regulators of the government appointed for these are all put together. And mental assurance is, it's audited every time in a very short period on a continuous basis. Quality assurance is kept, and the customer expectations are met. So all this gives a mental assurance, okay, things are going fine, and unless something hazard happens, and quite often it happens. So if even one mistake, and it can happen. So you have to be, that's why I said it is the odds are against us. So if you keep your vigilance very high, at least the loss will be very less. Otherwise, it can lead to a real mess up. Careers options, as I said, is you can be a consultant, it could be a safety officer, could be an industrial hygienist, you could be a environmental science and protection technician. So in different industries, different areas, you have these designations and people required. Environmental health and safety manager, air quality specialist, water treatment specialist, OZOB compliance assistant specialist, safety inspectors, auditors, many. Health and safety audit is a very high paying job. So career options are in terms of environment, looking after environment, in terms of the occupational health at the workplace, safety. So training, you could be a trainer and giving all the facilities and helping people to spread awareness, also teach them how to take care of fires and things like that. So manpower management, or it could be a in the management level, so safety director. So sustainability is the most important, because all this, as I said, should be sustainable, because you invest a lot of money, and you mitigate the dangers, you take care of the morale of the people, the performance is better, effectiveness, so obviously it's a sustainable one. So if it is not, then it is going to be just the reverse. So it could be auditor, and it could be a consultant advisory post. So all these are the varied options, career options which are there. So key elements of a EHS and a management system are: you make policies, you follow policies, then you organize your workplace in such a way, you plan and implement these plans. Okay, then you measure and make sure that it's audited, inspected, measure the performance and how it's improved. So review the performance, and all along you keep audit. So every time it's inspected. So if you see the audit, so if you look at the whole thing, so it goes in the same circle. So everything you can come back to the right at the beginning. So it's a continuous improvement process, which is advised by most of the consultants and most of the people who are aware of this. So next is identify the hazards, activity to avoid such hazards. As a such, you should awareness is very important, because if you're not aware and you're not even competent, so you're not sure whether such things can happen, then you be sure that such things can happen. So first of all, the awareness is there. So like for example, if you're cooking in the kitchen and you know, okay, this plate can be hot, and if you're not able to even know that, then you're in trouble. So the awareness is the key, and because of the awareness, your vigilance is, you're very alert and vigilance is very high. So identify some of the regulations which come into play. Suppose you, let's say I give you a situation like this. I'll just go forward. Let's say you have a situation like this. So what do you think are the assets? So if you can punch your answers on the chat, so moderator can read some of them. So I know if, okay, everyone understands this. So this is a site, construction site. So you see the site. So can you just put it on the chat? What are the dangers or what are the hazards which are possible? Or what do you think? Is it a good place or is it not such a good place, or the potential hazards? If you can quickly write down a couple of them, so the moderator can read it later, and then we go back. So obviously you identify the hazard, then you identify the regulation which can avoid this. Okay, so you see, for example, let's say the plastic covers. Okay, so plastic is no, what do you call, not degradable. Okay, so obviously you cannot destroy it. So plastic is a hazard any case. Then you look at the various workplaces. So there are barbed wires all over the place. There are a lot of material lying here and there. So chances of slipping, tripping, falling is all there. And then you have the crane at the site. Okay, so we're not sure how it's working. And then all this mud and other things kept in a what do you call, unsystematic manner. So these are some of the hazards. So going back to like this, so you'll see what I meant is identifying the hazards. Okay, so a situation is given, you can identify the hazards easily. So obviously, when you identify the hazards, you can identify the potential danger and you can avoid them. So that's called exactly a risk assessment. So if you identify that the things are lying in an unsystematic way, so you make sure that it is all kept in a proper systematic manner, and you have a site supervisor who takes care of all these things put in a right. So there is a pathway where people can easily walk through, or the equipment can travel. Okay, so that's coming out of a risk assessment in place, and having procedures for the selection of the correct equipment and ensure that the selected equipment is actually used. Then you communicate the risk control measures to the workforce. The supervisor's job is that. Then ensure workers are competent to use the equipment that has been correctly installed and assembled. So training is a must, because if you are having a crane like on the site, so obviously how the crane operator works, so he knows how to secure the load and he doesn't topple the load or drop the load in the wrong instance. So all this is coming out of the training. So it comes of the awareness of what can go wrong first. Okay, so arrange inspection and maintenance of the equipment as appropriate on a regular basis. So as I said, it's very important, very, very important that eh, at health and safety or EHS is looked at all levels. Okay, because even one person is doing a mistake, it can lead to a mess up, and a lot of people are getting what you call uh, disadvantaged by that. Okay, so because if let's say you're working in a workplace and by God forbidding you cut your hand, or maybe it's fatal and you lost your life, so your family is going to suffer. Then the your colleagues are scared. Okay, the morale is down. The company loses its brand name. No, then it can lead to a legal position. Then you have the government coming down on you. Regulators can come and take care, or the audits or the inspectors can come and create a work. So all this is something which can happen. So if you look and put all this in a right perspective, so this is we call it as a model. So if I'm looking at the EHS multi-level model, so it shows that the EHS can be successful once, if you look at the center point, that is successful EHS process implementation is possible if individuals adhere to that, or organization level we have adherence to that. National level, all the regulations are kept in place, and the international level, all the factors are coming into place. Okay, so you look at the sub factors. So that's why the successful EHS process implementation is called the dependent variable, and all these other boxes are the independent variable. So they stand on an individual basis, but they all come together to form a final relationship with this successful implementation of the EHS program. So at the individual level, you can have the employees' awareness is a must. Then the attitude is a must. So right attitude towards danger, towards mitigation of the potential dangers, take care of the risk, take care of your colleagues, everyone. Action, immediate action, not lazily say, okay, I'm going to do it later, or postpone, or procrastinate, if you can say. Okay, so timely action, competency, they should know, they should be trained, reskilled, upskilled. Then customer expectations, what the customer expectations are met by the individual employee, and they should be creative in knowing and also taking care of all the assets. So that's at the individual level, at the employee level. So organization level, the organization should make sure that the EHS is a culture. So health and safety, everyone has this culture, everyone has the concern for the others, and no, not look at something which is we they don't care about it. Okay, so the leadership and the top management is should be leading in such a way that the EHS is a major concern and the culture is properly given, and the investments are made to take care of the programs, the training programs, in the terms of equipment, in terms of EHS. What do you call cares, insurance, training, competitive advantage. Because if you are really doing well, like a company like Mercedes, and they really take care of their EHS programs and make sure that the at all levels the company is safe to work with, obviously you have a competitive advantage over the others, over your competitor. So process enhancement using the latest technology can happen. So you invest in all this. So national level, societal pressures are there, because no one wants a misrep. So everyone says that you have to take care, and they expect the organization to take care of themselves, their employees, and also the visitors, and also the area around them. So the law demands that these are regulations are kept. Government regulations and policies in EHS are must. Infrastructure to provide for all this, the right equipment, the transport, the supply, the technology, everything is a infrastructure. Then the business emphasis, that is the business itself should emphasize that this should be taken care at the national level. So international level is the globalization. The community comes together to avoid, to provide you the safety norms, the technology, the awareness, everything. So social media is playing a major role in that. The technology is taking care of it. So research and development, you research and find out what is the risk and how it can be avoided and what more you can do. Like for example, if you have the carbon footprint improved or increased, so because of the pollution, it leads to increase in the temperatures, leads to what do you call the melting of the icebergs, around, and then that leads to increase in the sea level. So certain areas are flooded, certain areas are dry. So this is all happening because of the forest cover. You cut your trees. So all this is coming out of research and development. So we ensure that everything, the carbon levels are low, or you invest in tree cover, forestry, and you ensure that you don't cut down the trees, or if you cut down, you make sure that you plant more number of trees to increase the forestry. So because that leads to the better soil, erosion is avoided, and the rains are better and in a timely manner. Okay, then we see the collaborations which is taking. So collaborations is a must, because you have the various agencies coming together, collaborating, various institutes, various organizations collaborating to achieve all this health and safety policies and regulations. So geopolitics, as I said, it can be like, it could be a war, or it could be a COVID. So depending on what it is, so geopolitics is how you deal with the other neighbors countries, and what kind of, like India, for example, gave almost like more than 50 million vaccines across, or 5 billion vaccines during the COVID. It was donated free of cost. So that's, and also we took care of our population on top of that. So these are some of the geopolitics which happens, and you should be aware of it. And education and knowledge levels are improved, and the technology is used for taking care of the EHS. So individual level, as I said, the employee awareness is better. Okay, you make sure that the policies are reached to every individual. The attitude is, we can have a behavior mapping, and check how the person is behaving towards health and safety, and how he takes care of his colleagues. And the right attitude should be paid and rewarded. Action, timely action should be rewarded. So all becomes incentive for the others to act. Competency can be increased by training, by giving them the knowledge, by giving them certifications, to put them on courses. And also looking at studies, academic point of view, customer expectations is what the customer wants from the individual employee. So that should be met, and they should be creative in taking care of the hazards and mitigating the hazard. Organization level, the company should make sure the culture is good, the environment is better. Leadership should take care of leading the way in this. They should make the right investment in training, equipment, and various infrastructure. So all this can lead to a competitive advantage if you're really doing well, and it can lead to process enhancement. Okay, so national level society pressures can be handled, or else if you're not doing the right thing, then the societal pressure can finish off an organization. Okay, and you have a lot of legal hassles, and the law is kept and enforced, and then government regulations are made in the EHS domain quite often, and then changing always as a continuous improvement. Infrastructure should be in place, and business emphasis. Everyone, all businesses should look at EHS policies and how to improve on that. So international level, globalization, all the people get together, and a globalized environment can make a better world. So technology can ensure the reach, and social media can help out. Research and development can happen. So you can look at, for example, the renewable energies. You're looking at the EVs, electric batteries, which can lead to less use of fuel, fossil fuel, and pollution. Okay, so these are direct benefits of research and development. Collaborations can happen across the organizations, across the countries. Geopolitics, as I already explained, education and knowledge levels can be there. All this will lead to obviously better profitability, because your compensation costs, legal costs, everything comes down. Then customer focus, customer satisfaction will happen. Then cost effectiveness will be better, brand name will improve, and the company will be resilient. It can bounce back very easily. So this we already discussed. So what is the OHS and policy? That is health and safety policy. Okay, so the OHS policy is how to take care of the health and safety levels in your workplace. Okay, so you plan for the hazard in identification, risk assessment, and control, which I keep saying all the time. So legal and other requirements, objectives of this plan, the occupational health and safety management programs which can be used. Then from the planning, it is implementation and operation, how you implement all this. So training, awareness, competence, reskilling, upskilling, structural organization structure. The health and safety can itself be a department separately, or it can be inbuilt into the operations. So every individual is responsible for this. Consultation and communication, documentation of each and everything, so that it's well documented. So anyone taking a look at it knows what has been done and what was the hazard and how it's improved on a continuous basis. Document and data control. So it's also like with 5G and with AI and the emerging technologies, documentation and data will make a long way to mitigate the hazards. Like for example, uh, when the COVID came, so we didn't have enough data to understand what was wrong. So now we have enough data, so we know how the virus acts and how it can be controlled. So that's why our control of such hazards can be much better if we have data. So clinical data is very important. Apart from that, hazardous data, whatever happened should be recorded, and that data is looked at quite often, and that can be easily controlled. So that's the essence of AI, machine learning, emerging technologies in this field. So operational control is better once you have the data. Emergency preparedness and response can be stimulated. Then checking and corrective action. So once you have the data, how we performed earlier and how we can improve now can be studied and stimulated and done. And the monitoring, accident incidents, non-conformances, and corrective and preventive actions can be taken. Records and record management is better. Auditing, inspections are all must on a regular basis. Okay. So, and a regular management review on this is done. So what are the EHS job skills? So basically the skills, what we expect from anyone is eye for minute details. Okay. So as I said, your awareness should be there and your vigilance and your attitude is to save others and yourself. So the eye for minute details is a must. You should not miss anything. So even if it's an airline crack, so you know that, okay, this can give way anytime and can be fatal. So you should immediately report or you should take action. Okay. Ability to identify the hazards is a must. It's a job skill. Get to the root cause. Look for the root cause. What has led to this? Okay. So how it can be avoided? Only then you can take a good guess at that. So find ways to mitigate or eradicate the danger or risk. Bring awareness and spread awareness on the EHS program. So more skills which are support the safety culture and importance, benefits of the culture, then build teams to spread and assess the risk, continuous updates and training to everyone. So which is a much is because the health and safety is a continuous process. So as I said, even 1 minute, 1 second, someone is not vigilant and it can happen. So you have to be at all levels very, very vigilant. So continuous improvement is the emphasis. The most effective way to reduce accidents and to improve safety at the workplace is to continuous review issues. So you should never let down the guard saying that, okay, I checked it yesterday, it's got to be okay. No, you have to check it every time. So as soon as an aircraft comes, you see 4 or 5 people examining each of the parts of the aircraft which can fail on a regular basis. And it is done using technology and various different aspects. Okay, testing and this thing can be easily stimulated. So incorporate solutions and maintain a focus on safety at all levels of the organization. The benefits include saving time, saving money, increasing customer, employee, and stakeholder confidence, improving the brand reputation. So benefits is very obvious. I already discussed that. So what we do in a continuous improvement is you plan first of all it, then you do that is implement the plan, then you check how the planning works and any changes need to be done, and then you act. accordingly and review it. Okay. So risk assessment, there are 5 steps to risk assessment. That is, look at the risk, identify the hazards, decide who may be harmed and how. So evaluate the risk and take action to prevent them immediately without any time lapse or postergation. Record your findings, review the risk assessment again and again. So these are the must for risk assessment. So how risk and hazards keep increasing? As I said, with time flow, everything, like you have even technology can be hazard. You have social media which can be hazard. So even giving can be a hazard. So we've seen all that, and then AI can be hazard. So if it's all anything which can be used in a positive way can be used in a negative way also. So the awareness is what is there, and especially the children and at the family level, at the worker level, we need to be very, very vigilant to take care of this. So at malls, what can happen? It can be a stampede, it can be a fire, it can be a bomb, it can be anything. So any of these options, so it can lead to a lot of discomfort, can lead to loss of reputation, lead to loss of life, and with that, all that whatever happens the other side is always there. So we need to avoid this at any cost. So events, so big events is like a mall. So you have a lot of people together. The hazard is much more magnified, especially with the COVID. We've seen remote working, social distancing. Okay, it can happen again and again. So too much crowd is also not good. So we need to check quite often what is the nuances, and this is part of the risk assessment. So war zones. So business cannot happen, as I said. So obviously, lives are lost in the wars. So it keeps happening. So we've seen example of Syria. We've seen what's happening in Iran. We've seen what's happening in Yemen. What happened in Yemen? We've seen what happened in now Russia, Ukraine. So all very avoidable. So not good for humanity, not good for anyone. So natural calamities, as I said, if you misbehave with the earth, misbehave with the environment, so you're going to have all these calamities coming to you. So floods, forest fires, high winds, tornadoes, tsunamis, all earthquakes. Just now we saw one in Turkey. So it can happen. Only thing, our vigilance and our technology can expect it to some extent. But then again, it's the almighty wish. Okay, some parts of it, like whatever technology, whatever there's always an element of blessing, as I call it. So without that, which we can't survive. Humanity is very much, whatever science is and whatever advancement we make, still that probability is always, it's never 100. So that 1%, 2% is good enough to be a, a very fatal one for anyone. So environmental awareness is a must. So EHS, that's environmental health and safety awareness, should be very high in all the places. And also we should keep our vigilance very high at individual level, organization level, national level, international level. Everything is equally important. Even let go in one place, the whole thing can collapse. So Agile EHS program, that is ever changing dynamic to meet the dynamic needs. Agile work safety program can reduce risk. So Agile is the ability to make strategic shifts in systems, processes, and technology. For a company to be considered Agile, it must be able to change from one stable system to another in a timely manner. And it should be very fast. So that also is taken care by the resilience. So you've seen during the COVID how Agile companies and how resilient companies survived, and in fact that did better than most of us. So it can reduce incidents, it can lower the costs related to injuries, it can build a better safety culture. So it depends totally on your top management and your organization levels, the culture, and the individuals who are involved in this. So this is another hazards in the workplace. If you can see that, so you'll see the guy standing on the ladder. So I don't know, it looks very unstable, the ladder position. because it's kept on something which can move on a pipe, it can slip. So you see some person and she's going towards a hole there. So it can be anything. So any of these, so you're shifting load and you're standing right in the middle of that. So the load can hit you or it can get dropped on you. That's a person who is carrying a big iron rod or something big. It's coming at this person who is lifting a heavy load. So can break his back. And this is a wrong place to sit. So you can just crumble in. So all this is hazard. So there are various ways. Obviously, a forklift, again, is blinded to what's happening here with this person because he's got the load in front and there's no path. You should not be going there. So all this is idea gives you idea of what is hazard. So benchmarking and standardization. Standardization is a process reduces confusion and non-compliance, but have a rigid safety system can produce undesirable effects such as complacency and heightened risk. So it's better to have agile EHS culture. So you benchmark yourself with the best companies like Mercedes, your Sony. So in the best companies in your domain and check what all they do and how they do it. And then that's the same thing you try to emulate and get into a good system which can mitigate the risk and also avoid hazards. So the important organizations and certifying agents are NIBOSH, that is a National Exam Board for Occasional and Safety and Health. Then you have HSC, that is Health and Safety Executive. IOSH is Institutional of Occasional Safety and Health. The ISO is the International Standards Organization for Standardization and Benchmark. So total safety culture, a holistic view, as I keep saying it throughout your workshop, what I'm doing today, the webinar. So it should be holistic and at what levels, and a total safety culture objectives are safety as a way of life at every level, creating ownership. Everyone should take ownership. Yes, I will do this to ensure my safety, my family's safety, and my co-colleagues safety and my passengers safety, or whoever is involved, and for anyone's safety. And infrastructure, use the infrastructure in a proper way, use the asset equipments in a right manner and not misuse them. Safety as a personal value, okay, as a personal this. So I don't know whether you've seen the news. So someone was using a smartphone in one of the dam sites and he dropped the phone in the damp water and then he pumped out all the water. So that's a real mishap. One thing is the smartphone dropped any case and the water is gone, and then he pumped out all the water which is drinking water from the dam, and that's a criminal waste and a health and safety hazard because all that water pumped out is loss of water. Second thing is got pumped into areas where water cannot go, should not be put there. Okay, so things keep happening, funny things keep happening. That's because of the unawareness of the person. So safety as a personal value, you should value it as much as for yourself, for everyone. Safety leaders and the supervisors are a must, and they should be well versed in this EHS programs. And the culture overall, culture at the family background, at your home, everything starts at home. So how your children take it and how it's a habit of being health and safety at a home starts there, and you bring it to the workplace and then further to the society, to the country, and all over the place. So communication is a must. Have transparencies, awareness should be spread. Positive safety culture, safety pyramids can be followed, like what things first, second, third, like that. Hazard recognition and control. So recognize what's can go wrong and act accordingly. So near miss reporting is a must because it's missed this time. It doesn't mean that you'll be lucky next time. So anything can happen anytime, as I said. So layered safety interaction. So at all levels, so different layers, individual, then you have the organization, national, international. So internal safety responsibility systems, accountability is a must. Okay. So categories of reinforcement is economic. So you thought the money is spent to build up the infrastructure, build up the technology, bring in the rewards for good adherence of EHS, and the infrastructure is built. Social responsibility, positive interaction between people, morale, the right thing to do, and that gives a sense of achievement and inner satisfaction. That is, if you avoid accident, you know you have done something good for yourself and for humanity. That gives you a sense of achievement. So safety policy, it is the goal of the organization and its employees to ensure that work and all other activities protect and promote the health and safety of employees, visitors, and customers. So this is part of any organization, because as I said, the benefits are too many, and the if you don't do it or you have a bad safety policy, then the penalties are too much. So it can as well as finish your brand name, can finish your company in terms of compensation, like what happened during the Bhopal gas leak in India. So they had to pay through the nose the settlement, trillions, billions of rupees, of billions of dollars, basically. So safety principles responsible for continuous practice of safety and environmental compliance. Nothing is so important that it cannot be done safely. Safety is a first priority. Overall success of the safety program is a shared responsibility. Supervisors and staff must show leadership and provide a good example. So as I said, it's a built up of the pyramid. So you have the individuals, then you have the organization, national, international, all layers. So what's the goal? Target zero. So no accidents, nothing should be outward. But then it happens. Okay, it can still happen. As I said, even one mistake is, because we are all human beings, we can error. So, but then the awareness can keep it all down. So goal, something to work towards. Take responsibilities, cannot put on others responsibility and accountability. Change ways of thinking. That's the culture. Zero accidents is our goal. Again, spot the hazards. You'll see this is a wrong way of cutting this thing, wrong way of reading. Okay, so you have the guys crossing the areas where the equipment can be traveling. So they kept even the rods in the places. So they're doing welding and other things without the glasses. They're shifting load of the crane in a improper manner. So you have the equipment connected in a wrong way, the electrical. Okay, so all these are various hazards. Carrying heavy load is another hazard. So cutting without obstacles, that is, there's no side cutter, so it can get thrown off and it can hit this person. So all this is hazard. So that's, if you don't have the awareness, you're going to be problematic. So safety team is the management, the EHS prospective health supervisors, employees, safety committees, forums. So safety teams are many, and many organizations, many countries, many societies have them. Okay. Management responsibilities, management commitment is the key, because they are the ones who got the resources to spend for the training, for the awareness. And as I said, for the individual, it's from the family background. For the organization, it's the management. It's always from the top. Okay, but only the individuals are equally accountable, responsible. They should take care of themselves and others. So ultimate responsibility for safety is resting with the management. Sorry, legal obligations to provide safe workplace, provide leadership and make safety a priority, display proper attitudes, provide resources. Supervisor responsibility is good leadership, good example. Whatever you said, your other colleagues are watching you and they will follow suit. Because if you, as a leader, you are doing yourself wrong, you cannot tell others to be okay. That's a must. So that same attitude you will carry at home, your children will not listen to you. So provide resources, equipment, guidance, is the responsibility of supervisor, safety in the work plan, evaluations, feedback on safety and enforcement, ensure training is provided and you attend it quite regularly, respond immediately to safety issues. Employee responsibility at an individual level, active participation in program, continuous practice of compliance, use only safe tools and equipment, where required PPE, okay, that's protective equipments. So notify the supervisor of accidents, near misses, splits, fires, hazards, or damaged equipment. Notify supervisor of any impairments. Example of safety committees are many, as I said. So controller animal care committees, departmental unique committees, housekeeping safety committee, advisory input and review committee, then not for imminent safety issue committee. So modern technologies, as I said, we can use simulations to understand what can go wrong. So we got technologies to create a scenario that can be done. So we can use VR, virtual reality, and things like that. So EHS crisis due to plastic, biological attacks, nuclear outbreaks is already happening. So it can be simulated and seen that how to avoid this and how what more can be done. So how we can recycle, for example, how we can avoid biological attacks, how we can work in an emergency kind of situation when nuclear outbreaks happen, like what happened in Japan. Then the practice in such situations can be done by drills conducted. So proper equipments like CCTVs, drones, using artificial intelligence, virtual reality, which I told you already, machine learning can help create such patterns and see how the situation can be faced. So thank you very much. You're done. Now you're open to questions.
Oh, awesome, sir. Awesome. It was such a awesome lecture. Okay. So thank you, participants, for having the patience and listening to the lecture. And I hope all of you got insightful in the informations in this EHS. So, sir, before we go to the Q&A session, we will have a small presentations from UniAthena. I'll be just taking three, 4 minutes. Then after that, we'll go for Q&A session. So welcome everyone again. Now, let us have a look on the courses that we are offering at UniAthena. We have the presentations here. So UniAthena is a global education platform where we have learners and reach out to lots of countries all over the globe. And there are many courses which you will be looking through from the PPTs that we'll be showing you. So we have our partners. UCAM partners, we have partners with Alberta University, we partner with Marconi University, we have partners with Acacia University, SQA is there, and CMI, CIQs. These are some of the partners that we work with. We offer many courses, academic programs in Masters, MBA, we have micro credits and doctorates. I have already shared the link to you before also. You can go through that link, visit the link, and be aware of all the courses. You can have all the details of the course details. We have short courses also, which are very basic, and some of them are diploma, executive diploma, and also MBA essentials, mastering, and some short essential courses. Yes, in UniAthena, we have flexible mode of payment, and it's 100% online. So some of the participants were asking, what would we do if I'm in this country? There is nothing like that. We are all a global village. You will be having all the courses online. It's totally online, and it is self-paced. So whenever you are free, you can go through the courses. There is no hard and fast rule for coming and appearing at the time scheduled. It is a self-paced course at your convenience. So we have accredited university partners also. Here we have 100% online and bite-sized delivery for your convenience. There are video tutorials And the video tutorials will make you aware with all the visuals and the audios. You can, at your work, while going and traveling to your work, you can listen to the audios also. And whenever you are free, you can look into the videos. So the learning essentials are there. They are the content part, and you can go through them. You can have lots of insights into the new contemporary scenarios of your topics. We have essential readings attached, and you can download and you can check on these informations which are extras. And we have online resources. So online resources, you are access to the library, and we'll be having the code where you can get the necessary materials that you want to read. These are reference materials. So you can visit www.uniathena.com for the details that you would like to seek to. And you can also connect to us with the admission. The mail ID is given there, admission@uniathena.com, or else you can also directly contact to our admission team at fatima@uniathena.com. Regarding our official offices, we have 3 sites. That's in London, and India we have in Pune and in Middle East. So this was a brief presentation for you regarding our UniAthena programs and the process that you would do. So, sir, will be now taking up the questions from the participant. I have few questions for you.
Yes, go on.
Yes. Okay. So the first question, it's a very short question. So we'll take a few questions, but very important. And this one question is very short. It's a question from Teresa Orerneta. So she has asked, how can I get the international safety certificate? I hope you have already said, but to reiterate, so this is a very simple question.
So
how can I get?
You can, there are safety courses like certifications from Pearson, for example, or you can from Bosch. There can be City and Gales. All these certifications are available. So you can actually, if you have net access, you can just on your browser, you can say health and safety courses, and you get the whole thing. So then you select what levels and what according to your package and your pocket, you can go into this, because a lot of facilities which most of them are giving. So even our UniAthena is giving you a lot of facilities and courses. So you can check with our admin here.
Okay, that was very good. Thank you, sir, for answering to Teresa Oreneta's questions. We have one question, another short question that is from Ricardo Lincio Lau. So he asks, what EHS rules will prevail? Is it the company or EHS of the country?
See, it's like this. Most of the rules are international, like HSE is international, but most of the countries follow, like for example, UAE follows all the rules of HSE. So like that, depending on the countries, most of them follow all these rules. Only thing is customized to that area. For example, let's say if it says that the height of the ladder should be like this for a particular, as per the HSE. So maybe for your place and your instances, it can be slightly varied, but different kind of rules, slightly customized. Otherwise, it's more or less same. It's not vastly different.
Okay, that's great. Thank you, sir. So we have another questions by Mukibira John Mark. So he says, I'm Mukibira John Mark, writing from Uganda. I'm trying to shed light on the situation here in Uganda. Safety is not a part of work ethics currently in my country. Perhaps it's being taken seriously when dealing with mega construction projects. But around us, safety is being taken for granted. What can be some of the destructive behavior partners that can be avoided in this scenario? I'm asking about the real estate hazards because it's one of the booming industry in my country.
I understand. Like as I said, charity begins at home, so safety also begins at home. You catch them young,
yeah.
And then in the school level, because as a child, you don't have any selfish motives, so you're open to So you catch them young, and that's when you make them aware. And this awareness needs to be spread right at a young age. So at my, for example, at my home, I always advise my children, please keep your taps closed. Okay, because little waste of water, maybe you are spending the water which is due to someone in Uganda or in Ghana. No, and it's not good for humanity to do that. So you get into the culture
Yes.
at home, the same culture prevails in the society. So unfortunately, in some places it's not. So it's only through awareness, and you try to get more and more people to, or you can organize such webinars for your country. So that's the least you can do. You can get in touch with us here, and then through us, because it's also important for us. Our name grows, and then more people like you will join our courses. So it works, benefits both ways, and at the same time you get more people. Is because a webinar is free, so the awareness is spread. Like you must have learned a lot of things from this webinar, and I also learn a
Yes.
lot because I know from this place this is what is happening, right? It's both ways, so it's always helpful. So get more people and then spread the awareness. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Uh, let's take a few more questions. One question is from Tony Abraham. He asked, what procedures can be followed when the company is breaking some safety measures, mostly with the general workers? I think it is quite
It's
a little bit tedious. Yeah.
it happens in some places, but then awareness is that if all the workers feel that this is something dangerous to them, they should protest. They can lay off work for one. They can stop working, saying that unless this is rectified, we will not work, because a loss to you is a personal loss, and I don't know whether the company who is not taking care of you for the training or these kind of measures will take care of pay you any compensation. So it is better for you to, as individuals, get together and take a protest against this. And you can lodge the complaint with the municipality and with the local authorities, saying that this is what is happening. Because that is like a sumoto. And even if it's you have a legal system in place, you can go and approach the court saying that this is the unfair conditions for us to work in. So the sumoto, the court can order the authorities to go and check it. And you can even write to HSE. HSE can instruct the authorities directly. They have the enforcement power.
Oh, that's great. So I hope our participant got the answer. So, sir, you have already related some information to ergonomic, but we have a question here from two participants on the same. One is from Lebohang Mahlangu. He asks, what is ergonomics, sir? So he has asked a simple question.
Ergonomics is the way how you position in a sitting or standing position, and how you, like when you are looking into the computer, the eye level should be the same. Okay, it should not be neither lower or above. So if your chair is lower and you're sitting on a desk in which is not conducive to keep your eyesight clear in the same level, your eyesight will diminish slowly. So these are some of the things which are advocated, and it's many more. No, it's difficult to just cover in a webinar. So I am trying to build you a capsule. I'm only telling you what's it's capable of.
Exactly.
Okay, so you can research, and it's available all over the. Technology is all over. And obviously, if you want a certification or you want to do something about it, please come to us and we can certify you. So do a course with us. We'll be more than happy to certify you through our international partners. And then that's a starting point for you.
Thank you, sir. I hope, Mohammed Daniel, you got the answer to your question. What is the most suitable and efficient way to overcome ergonomics hazard? So we had already the answer by sir. So let us go to the next question, that is by Azima Golani. How can we apply benchmarking practices?
Benchmarking practices are followed by HSE directly also, because they give a situation for these regulations are based on the benchmarking. So if you follow those regulations, already you are benchmarked. Apart from that, ISO, you have ISO 45,000, okay, or you have the services level ISOs relevant, which also apply. So that's also benchmarking.
Okay, that's great. There is one participant who is the anonymous attendee. So he has quoted many questions, but I'll pick up one question from him. He asks, hello, sir, I have a question. How lack of a functional health, how a lack of a functional health and safety management system is an economic and social cost to business and the society?
The economic cause and social cause are two different things which will come if you are not healthy or you're not safe. For example, it can lead to a trauma or stress in the mind. So if I feel the roof is going to fall on me, I cannot work. So I'll keep looking up, and half the time I'm wasting my time, right? So that's the psychological part of it. So mental health is not will deteriorate slowly. So that will spread because your performance is coming down, the company will lose. So that's the economic part of it. The profitability of the company will go down, is again a profitability. The GDP will go down. That is the gross domestic product for your country. If there are too many such people, so obviously that will suffer and will go down. So social pressure will happen is if actually you're let go and something happens and it's a social mishap. So you are in danger, you're putting others also in danger. So that's a social impact you can have.
Great. So before we wind up, so we have one last question from our participant, Lara Fatima. So she asks, how can we adopt environmental science as a profession after or during business management science? Means if you are interested in business, also in environmental science, please guide. So she
There are two different lines. There are two different lines. Basically, let's say you want to do a certification in EHS, so you'll do that. Environmental science also, you have certain certifications. You can do that separately, or you can do side by side, but they are not connected. So you'll require two different certifications currently, unless the things change and they are clubbed together, or maybe later on the environmentalists also bring it in along with the management part of it. It keeps changing, right? How we are evolving also, the courses will also evolve. So probably your kind of question will get noticed and more on people. So maybe we'll have a course very soon, which will combine both. Okay.
Great. Great. Thank you, sir. So there are many questions, many questions, but because of the time constraints, we are not able to take the questions. Dear participant, please bear with us. And thank you, participants, for having the patience. It has been a pleasure being all of you today. Thank you for your patience. I wish you all a very good evening. And sir, especially, it is a very honor to be among us today and to present your perspective before our participants. So thank you, sir. And all the participants, thank and have a very good evening or good day. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for being with us. Bye-bye. See you soon. Bye. So you can log off.